Hi, it's me, Karen Romano Young, back with day 10 of reading A Girl, a Raccoon, and the Midnight Moon with pictures by Jessica Bagley, published in 2020 by Chronicle Kids. Chapter 9, The Full Game, September 5th. The first morning of the new school year, when Pearl stepped out her door, who should she find standing there, bouncing up onto her tippy toes, but Francine. "Please walk to school with me, or else Granny's going to. She only let me come this far alone because I swore I'd walk with you, and I have to rush back and buzz her so she can look down and see I'm not walking alone, or she's going to come down and walk me and—" She grimaced. "I don't think I'll make a good first impression if she's there." She tucked her hands into the sides of her bright new school jumper and took a deep breath. Pearl thought about Francine's parents being all the way in Brazil so that she had to live with Granny and go to a new school. She swallowed her curiosity and tucked her thumbs under her backpack straps. "Fine," she said, "let's go." It was just as well not to have to walk to school alone. As they walked the 11 blocks to school, more and more students joining the sidewalk at every crossing, it was good to have someone at her side for once, although it would have been better if Francine was in the same class. She dropped Francine at another 5th grade classroom and turned nervously toward her own. Pearl knew she shouldn't be afraid of the girls in her room, but she was a little. She couldn't figure out when or how they had become such good friends. It seemed like everyone had all been friends forever, but never friends with her. No one was mean to her. They mostly didn't think about her. There was no reason for them not to be friends with her, but there was also no reason why any extra effort should be made for Pearl when they just naturally already were friends with each other. It was awful. But whenever Pearl pushed the matter, things got even worse. She couldn't understand it, and she couldn't stand it either. She knew there was nothing wrong with her. She was nice. She would be a good friend and not tell anyone. She was an interesting person who knew about books and could recommend them and quote from them and even give a brief synopsis of them, if someone wanted her to. But after 5 years of going to school with Pearl, the kids only asked her for book reviews in order to distract her or appease her or make the teachers think they were talking to her for real. Maybe this year would be different. At lunch, Pearl didn't see Francine at first, so she sat down at the 5th grade table next to a new kid, a tall brown girl named Millie Perez, who had just moved to New York all the way from Miami Beach, Florida. Pearl liked the look of Millie, with her navy socks that slouched down to her ankles, tiny glassy earrings, and a long brown ponytail as straight as a broom. But Elsa Mann was sitting on the other side of Millie, and when Pearl sat down, Elsa moved farther away from Pearl and motioned to Millie. "Why?" said Millie softly, but Pearl heard, and she heard Elsa whisper back, "Boring. Watch." Then Elsa asked Pearl if she'd read all of Harry Potter, which of course she had. The Harry Potter series began with Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. In the UK, published by Bloomsbury. In the US, published by Scholastic in 1998. If you're reading in the United States, you know the first book as Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. "Tell us what it's about." Elsa had invited her in an insincere voice, so Pearl should have known enough to resist. Who didn't know what it was about anyway? A sidebar about Harry Potter. There is such a thing as being in the right place at the right time. There is also such a thing as being born to greatness. But most heroes aren't great just because they were born in the right place at the right time or were born to greatness, especially female heroes. Ask Hermione. Or ask Francine. Do you really think she didn't see Pearl in the lunchroom? When I heard this, I thought Pearl was anything but a hero. By M.A.M. Pearl asked, "You want a synopsis of all of Harry Potter?" Well, however much you've read, said Elsa. Francine walked in just then and stood scanning the room. Pearl knew she was looking for someone to sit with, looking for her. Pearl, insisted Elsa. Potter? Khadijah's and Millie's eyes were on Pearl, too. Please, said Elsa. You know I could never get through a book that thick. Pearl was shocked at the idea that Elsa hadn't read it. She looked at the other two. They glanced from Pearl to Elsa. Elsa said, They haven't read it either, probably. Please tell us. From the beginning? Pearl ducked her head to avoid Francine's eyes. Elsa nodded, smiling. You're the best at, she tried for the word Pearl had used, synopsises. Millie shrugged and smiled too. So Pearl caved, determined to prove Elsa wrong about her being boring. She gave a synopsis of Harry Potter so complete, passionate, and engrossing that it took every minute of lunchtime. She hardly had time to take a bite of her tuna sandwich, only it was worth it to have someone listening with intense eyes like Millie's. But when the bell rang at the end of lunch, Pearl had told only through book 1. Elsa turned her shoulders away from Pearl and took Millie with her. Where you going? Pearl said. She knew it was a mistake, but it came popping out of her mouth. She followed them, trailing slowly. Along the way, Elsa grabbed hold of Khadijah, and by the time Pearl got there, they had set up a jump rope game. Can I jump in? Pearl asked. Game's full, said Elsa. There are 2 turners and 1 jumper. I'll wait my turn, said Pearl. Well, none of us wants to wait, said Elsa, jumping. We've got just the right number as it is. Sorry, Pearl, said Millie, and looked it, but she didn't argue with Elsa. Sorry, Pearl, said Khadijah, who knew how things usually went along. Pearl said, 2 people can jump at once, you know. That's not the plan, said Elsa. Why? Demanded Pearl, then felt too ashamed to continue. They didn't even glance at each other, just watched Pearl while they turned the rope, the rhythm like a heartbeat. Pearl turned away. She took When You Reach Me by Rebecca Stead, Wendy Lamb Books, 2009, out from under her arm and sat by the wall. But she couldn't focus on her book. Something made her think of Francine. She glanced that way, and there was Francine and a group of kids from her class playing Foursquare. When she saw Pearl, she smiled and waved. Pearl tried to make it look like it was her choice to be sitting by the wall with her book. Well, wasn't it? Wasn't this the reason she'd brought the book with her? Just in case? She gave Francine a big cheesy smile and a thumbs up sign and raised her eyebrows as if to say, You okay? She was going to pretend she hadn't seen Francine in the lunchroom. At least Francine hadn't been there to see Elsa embarrass Pearl. Pearl skimmed her eyes around the playground. Just about everyone here was older than her. If only 5th grade was still on the lower playground, she could have gone to the lower grade teachers and offered to push kids on the swings or catch them on the slide. She could have brought her own jump rope and taught the little kids. She could have pretended she wasn't interested in jump rope or playing or friends anyway. And she wouldn't have to pretend she was sitting alone on purpose. Thank you. See you tomorrow.